I first met your father in 1988, October 10th, in the parking lot of Maine East High School. And one of the girls had a traditional Italian skirt on that had ripped and she needed a safety pin. So Daddy approached me and asked me if I knew where they could get a safety pin. And I took them across the street to the cleaners to get a safety pin. And then he offered to buy me a Frosty at the Wendy's, and he did. And then he asked our teacher if I could ride on his school's bus instead of Maine East bus, if I could go on Maine South bus, which I did. And then he asked if I could go on his school's float, which our teacher said I could. And so we rode on the float, and then we like held hands on the float. So the next day he wrote me a note, and the teacher brought the note to my school because she used to transfer back and forth. And then I wrote him a note back and forth, and then we started dating after that.
How did you feel when he told you he was joining the army?
I was sad at first because I was scared for him because it was like we were fighting Iraq at the time. It was 1988, so they were probably gonna. I was thinking he was gonna be deployed if he went into the army, so I was scared for him. But then after I talked to his recruiter, I realized it was a good idea for him because he'd be making good money and he would have money to go to college. So I was sad because I was actually there when he signed the papers and his parents signed for him to go out. He was only 17 years old. At first, it was a little difficult, but I was in college, so I was really busy. And after we got married, because I had Gino and I was raising him by myself. And then when he was away to Kosovo and Iraq, those were hostile situations and you were really little, so it was hard for me. Plus I was in Germany. I didn't have my family around me, so thankfully I had good friends, and I was really busy like volunteering at the school and with different organizations on base. So I tried to keep myself busy, but it was hard not being with him. But I was proud that he was fighting for, for freedom. So, you know.
Do you ever wish he wouldn't have joined?
I think about it sometimes, but I can't imagine that scenario really. The things that he saw there affected him a lot, especially because I know he lost friends when he was there, and it was very like tumultuous. I mean, they were being bombed a lot, so he'd have to go undercover a lot, and sometimes when he stood up, maybe there wasn't, some of his friends maybe were missing, and it was bad. But he did build lots of schools and churches and stuff when he was there, so I know he did a lot of good too. So, I mean, different. I'm sure he was different when he came back just because he experienced different things, but I don't think it changed him as a person. Well, I think you guys have a rich sense of culture and diversity because you grew up, living in different countries, being exposed to different cultures and countries. I'm sure it was difficult for you guys to be away from him too because he's a loving father. So like when he's not home, he's definitely missed. But we tried to do our best to keep you in touch with him by doing like video conferencing. Before that, when Gino was little, Daddy used to make messages for him, like, and voice like his, like reading books and stuff like that.
What is it like now that he is semi-retired?
I think it's awesome because he's home every day. So, I mean, sometimes I wish he would be deployed just for a little while. No, sometimes it's different because when you're used to him going like every couple months, that he goes away for a couple months, you kind of like expect that to happen. So like when it doesn't happen anymore, you're like, wow, he's here all the time now. So you have to kind of get used to it. But I think that it's nice now and we're in a groove. So like he goes to work, I go to work, but like we try to have dinner together every night, and we're involved with the school and involved with marching band with you. So that's one thing we do together, and we try to make more time to spend with each other since we missed so many years of not being together. So I think we're more aware of time, and we try to make the most of every moment that we have